We are live. Welcome, everyone. This is Speak English with this guy. My name is Brent. And in today's English lesson, you are going to learn about two states in the United States. I put up a poll and I asked, what lesson do you want me to do? Why is that happening? I just got an alert on my, hopefully you didn't hear that. I just got an alert. I don't think it's that big. But I asked on a poll, hey, what do you want to learn? And the poll said the 50 states. Let's learn a little bit about American culture. Let's improve your English vocabulary. In this lesson, you can see at the bottom of the screen, you will improve your English and also learn more about American culture. But before we get too far, I would like to say hello to a few people who are here. Amina is here. Mega is here. Harry's here. Hopefully you're doing well. Hey, saw this guy. Audie the Tie is here. Welcome. English Joy, hopefully you're doing well. Look, oh, Mahmoud's here. Can't forget to say hello to Mahmoud. Freddie Wolf. France is in the house. Hopefully you're doing well, Freddie. And if you are watching on Instagram, come over to YouTube. Speak English with this guy. Hello. There are 86 people chatting. So maybe you can come over, leave a message in the chat, and that will help you improve your English. Yeah, so today we are going to talk about Alaska and Nevada. And if you look at that thumbnail, you can see me. A computer made a drawing of me. Handsome devil, that guy. But you will also see some aliens, a UFO, and some bars of gold. And I promise, by the end of this lesson, you will know exactly what that means, how that relates to the states of Alaska and Nevada. Let's do it. Well, Pablo's here. There's so many. I need to say hello to a few more people. Hello. Wait a second. Oh, Amina has to go get an oil change in her car. That's fun, isn't it? But we will be talking about oil a little later on. I don't want to say why, but oil is going to be part of this lesson. Yeah, your car needs an oil change. Can't wait too long on that. How are you doing? From Thailand? Are you? I probably said your name wrong. I'm sorry. Camellia, how are you? Philippines is in the house. Spoiler alert, we will talk about the Philippines. I can't say why yet, though. I can't say why yet. That is a secret. Let's do this. I did not say hello to everyone. I'm sorry, but I hope everyone is doing well. I will say hello to my wife, though. She is here in the chat. Jamie Watson, she is here in the chat. Algeria is in the chat as well. So a little over 100 people watching on Facebook and YouTube. You are here to learn English. So let's do that. I did ask channel members, hey, which states would you like to learn about? And a few people said Alaska. A few more people said Nevada. So I thought, let's do it. If you would like to become a channel member and chat with me a little bit more about English, there is a link right in the chat. So the 50 states, it did win both polls. Channel members chose the states of Alaska and Nevada. Let's talk about that first state right there. It's called, I almost said Hawaii. We will talk briefly about Hawaii, but the first state we are going to talk about is Alaska. And you can see on the map with the big red arrow pointing to it that is Alaska. It is our largest state. Just in case you don't know, the United States has 50 states. And it is almost like visiting a different country. We do have the same money, but we might have just a little bit slightly different laws. So, Alaska is our largest state. Now, here's some advanced English for you, though. It is the third least populated state. There are only two states that have fewer people who live in it. So, it's our largest state, but only two states have fewer people living in it. So that makes me think big state, hardly any people. Let's talk about the population of Alaska. And this will be good practice for saying big numbers in English. The population of Alaska is 732,673 people. And I can say that again because it's hard to read large numbers in English, but the good thing is you don't have to do that very often. But I will do it one more time. The population of Alaska is 732,673. Now, two kind of difficult words I would like to talk about are sparse and dense. Those are good adjectives to know in English, and especially when you're talking about population. Population is people, by the way. Population is people. When you hear population or you hear populated, think of people. They both start with P. But Alaska is the most sparsely populated state. Sparse. What does that word mean in English? If you look at that picture, oh, and if you're on Instagram, you can't see the picture, come over to YouTube. Speak English with this guy. If you see that picture right there, it looks like a kitchen to me, but that kitchen is pretty sparse. There aren't a lot of decorations there. There aren't a lot of items. It looks kind of bare. Now, when I say bare, it doesn't mean that animal. It is spelled like this, bear. Julia, hope you're doing well. Good to see you in here. So bear, I wrote it in the chat. B-A-R-E, bear. Not a lot of things going on. And when we talk about Alaska, it is pretty bare when it comes to people. The opposite of bare or sparse is dense. And I am going to show you a way that if you want to call somebody dumb in English, I'll teach you another way. Hopefully nobody calls me dumb. But you could say dense. We will get to that in a minute. Dense. So Alaska is the most sparsely populated state. The opposite is densely populated. That means people living close to each other. And I know there might be a few people watching from Bangladesh. And I know Bangladesh is one of the most densely populated countries. Lots of people living in a small space. Alaska is sparsely populated. It's the opposite. Lots of area, lots of land, not too many people. So let's talk about dense. So if you look at that photo, in the photo, there is a dense forest. It's thick with trees. Dense, thick. When you hear thick, dense, think synonyms. They mean almost the same thing. But here are two ways to call somebody stupid without calling them stupid in English. Dense is another way to say a person is dumb. And thick and dense mean almost the same thing. could also say, that guy is pretty thick. And when we say that, we are talking about their head. Like there isn't a lot of brain in there. Or to get to the brain, you have to go through a thick skull. So let's check the chat. Make sure there aren't any questions. Turkey's in the house. Welcome. What is the population of the United States? I don't know. It goes up every day, but it's probably 330 million, something like that. Yeah, Audie. Yeah, I don't think you want to go to Alaska. You might freeze there. But I do know, Audie told me, he's a channel member, he has been to Las Vegas, which we are going to talk about later in the lesson. Las Vegas, not the capital of Nevada, but it's the biggest city. Mauritania is in the house. I know, Mahmoud's from Mauritania too. What is it? I don't know. What is this? I borrowed my friend's headphones, but dude, it is so dirty. I'm really going to study math. I will watch after. Okay. So you're going to watch on replay. Hello to anybody watching on replay. I'm sorry about your friend's dirty headphones, but maybe you can clean them up and then give them back to them. But good luck with the studying of math. Math is not one of my strong suits. Strong suits is another way to say you're not very good at something. So math is not one of my strong suits. Wellington Silva. Hey, with that last name, I am wondering, are you from Brazil? Hello, I've been watching your videos and I learn a lot. P.S. I'm in college. Oh, I promise I did not see that you said you live in Brazil. But hey, glad to have you here. Freddie Wolf. He wrote so much you can't see my face. Maybe that's best. Freddie Wolf. Brent, did you know that the name of Alaska comes from a transcription from a Russian native people who lived there? And when the U.S. bought this territory from Russia, it simply called them Alaska. Freddie, we will get to that. The connection between Russia and Alaska. Freddie, bring in the knowledge. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. Look at Bangladesh is in the house. Thank you for watching from Bangladesh. And Somalia. Look at that. I'm doing an English lesson later from the streets of a town called Lewiston. And there are some Somali restaurants there. I might be walking past a Somali restaurant. Somali food, some of the best in the world. Hey, Sri Lanka is in the house. Sri Lanka. Do you live in Kandy or do you live in Colombo? Two big cities in Sri Lanka. All right, let's get back to the lesson. You are here to learn English. We just learned about dense. The next term we are going to talk about is median. And when we talk about median, we are going to talk about money, the money of Alaska. Because even though there aren't many people living in Alaska, Alaska is a big state with very few people. Alaska's pretty rich. And we are going to talk about why Alaska is so rich. But one of the things you might see if you look up Alaska on the internet is something called median income. Anytime you hear income, think money. The median income in Alaska is, another big word here, $77,800. $77,800, which makes Alaska the 12th richest state. Ooh, not easy to say. I'm going to read that sentence one more time. If you would like to practice shadowing while I read that, it might be a good idea to help you with your English pronunciation. Hey, if you're watching on Instagram, come over. YouTube, Speak English with this guy. Iraq, Rack is watching on Instagram. Come over to YouTube. Here we go. That sentence one more time. Lots going on there. The median income in Alaska is $77,800, which makes Alaska the 12th richest state. Not easy to say 12th. 12th. So, what does median income mean? So, median income means if you take the person who makes the least amount of money, the lowest amount of money, the least amount of money, and then you take the person who makes the most, it's the number right in the middle. So, it's median is not average, but it's really close to average. So the average person in Alaska makes 77,000 US dollars a year. In my opinion, that's quite a bit. It's a pretty rich state. It's the 12th richest. Take my state. I live in the state of Maine. We are not as rich as Alaska. $63,440 is the median income in my state. Oh, Alaska. On Instagram, somebody said, every time I hear Alaska, I think of the color white. Lots of snow in Alaska. We will talk about that pretty soon. How about this? The language of Alaska. You might be thinking, well, Alaska is part of the United States. They speak English there, right? Yes, mostly. Just like most people in the United States speak English as their native language, but not all. Some speak Spanish. Some people in the town near me speak Somali as their native language. But Alaska is quite different because if you look at the banner at the bottom of the screen, only 86% of the people speak English as their native language in Alaska. Only 86. So what are the other people speaking? Well, about 5% speak native Alaskan languages. So in North America and South America, there were people living here before Europeans came over. And you might hear those people called indigenous people. I have mentioned indigenous people in past English lessons. Those were the people living in the Americas before Europeans came. And some of those languages still exist in Alaska. But also, 3.4% speak a language called Tagalog. Now, I'm wondering in the chat, please, Tagalog. In what country do they speak Tagalog? At least that's what we call the language of this country in English. It might have a different name in other languages, but in English, we call this language Tagalog, and it is spoken in a certain country. Indonesia's in the house. Ecuador's in the house. Hey, I know Harry. He's from Indonesia. Oh, Dino, that is a great question. What is the richest state? I am not sure. Maybe somebody can look it up, but I think it's either California or Connecticut. Connecticut might be the richest state. A lot of people who work in New York City will live in Connecticut. There we go, Yang. Filipinos speak Tagalog. Yeah, so the Philippines. The Philippines. Oh, yes. If you're just joining, the topic for today is the U.S. states, the 50 U.S. states, and we are talking about two states today, Alaska and Nevada. What is that? If Alaska is a rich state, is this state sharing his money with the other states? It depends, because last week I talked about federal government and state government. So everyone who works in Alaska will pay federal taxes to our capital in Washington, D.C., but some taxes stay in Alaska. So, yes and no. Mahmood, my accent is like a Canadian accent. Hey, Bob the Canadian is going live after this live lesson. So, probably most people know Bob the Canadian, but if you don't, yeah, so Tagalog, Yang said, it is the Philippines. It is the native language of the country of the Philippines. Look at that. Yang is from the Philippines. So I'm wondering, is Tagalog your native language? But this English Joy says, yeah, there's nothing to do in Alaska. Well, we will talk about a couple things you can do in Alaska, but if you like the outdoors, hunting, fishing, those are big, big, big in there. Which state is the poorest? That is a good question. I promise, if you stick with this channel, we will cover the poorest state. I don't know that answer, but if I had to guess, New Mexico, Louisiana, Arkansas, West Virginia, one of those states, I think. I'm not sure. Can I participate? Yes, you're participating now. You just left a comment. We can see you. All right, Tagalog, 3.4% of Alaskans speak Tagalog as their native language. Yeah, the United States is a big country, lots of different kinds of people. Lots, it's very diverse, we would say. Hitchum, hope you're doing well. Let's learn some more about Alaska. We need to talk about this guy. How did Alaska become a state? Freddie mentioned earlier that Russia is somehow involved with Alaska. So the US government bought Alaska from Russia in 1867. And this person in the picture, William H. Seward, is the guy from the US government who bought Alaska. Now, he wasn't one of our US presidents, but he was in charge of buying Alaska from Russia. William H. Seward. We will talk about him in a second. But the leader of Russia at the time was this guy named Tsar Alexander II. Now, why would Tsar Alexander II want to get rid of Alaska? Why would they want to sell Alaska to the United States? Well, I think English Joy said it best a couple minutes ago. There's nothing up there. It's kind of a wasteland. A wasteland. A wasteland is, where is it here? Alaska was known as a wasteland for a long time. Lots of snow up there, but not a whole lot else. So at the time, Russia was fighting a war in Crimea. They needed money. There wasn't a whole lot in Alaska. Snow's not worth a whole lot of money. So let's talk about sea otters too. When Russia was using Alaska, one of the businesses there was sea otters. They kill sea otters for their fur. But so many sea otters were killed that there wasn't many left. And so there wasn't a lot of money to be made in the United States and in Alaska. So Russia sold Alaska to the United States. And a lot of students growing up in the United States will hear of this thing called Sewards Folly. Okay, my alarm is going off. That means I almost forgot. I would like to turn on members only chat right now. just to say thank you to all of the channel members. Hey Siri, set my alarm for 5 minutes. Okay, she did it. So just so I don't forget to turn off members only, as a thank you to channel members, I want to give them a chance to be the only ones who can chat for 5 minutes and ask the questions they would like to. So in the United States, students growing up, going to American schools, they might hear of this thing called Sewards Folly. Talked about this guy, William Seward. He made a mistake. A folly is an old way to say a mistake. So for a long time, the American citizens were wondering, why did we pay all of this money for this state that doesn't have any more sea otters, just has snow? Two things are going to be discovered in Alaska that's going to make it the 12th richest state. Does anybody in the chat want to guess what was discovered in Alaska that made it rich? Thing, I am in the state of Maine. No way. Michigan is the poor state? I know Freddie probably looked that up, or he's a very smart man, so maybe he knows this. How many states have I visited? Williams is in Argentina. I think I have visited 19 states. I've taught English in a lot of states. If you look at the I think I might have lost Instagram. Yeah, if you look at the road trip I did back in 2021, I visited a lot of states. It's 4 parts. Oh, hang on. Abid, gold and fish. Fish is definitely one of the ones. Gold is definitely one of the ones. And we're going to talk about one other thing that made it really. Oh, there you go, Sid. Gas or oil? Yes, oil is going to be discovered. There you go, oil. What? Why are we getting so many people that you are participating? Yeah, there you go. You're in there. That's a great question. I'm not sure if they speak Russian in Alaska anymore. When I did my research, Russian was not one of the languages that was spoken the most. English, Native Alaskan languages, Tagalog. All right, hey, look at this guy. Arone from Italy. Oil. Yes. So a folly is a mistake, but you will not hear that too often. It's an old way to say a mistake. So Alaska was known as a wasteland for a long time. But then guess what happens? It has been said gold was discovered in the 1890s, which caused many people to move to Alaska in hopes of becoming rich. And we will see that happen. If you watch all of the 50 states lessons, you will see that happen quite a bit. Gold or silver, when we talk about Nevada next, gold or silver will be discovered, and it will cause people to move to this territory. Well, that happened in the 1890s in Alaska. And a lot of people moved there to become rich. Unfortunately for them, not many people became rich. There was a lot of gold, but not a lot of people got the gold. A few people did, and they became rich. Probably fish. Harry, you are correct. The fishing industry today in Alaska, also crabs. The crabbing industry in Alaska, lots of money there. Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Siri. She set my alarm for 5 minutes. So let's go back to everybody chatting here on YouTube. Thank you so much. Right there. Thank you so much, channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link there. You can get some extra bonus lessons once a week, chat with us on the private Discord, and gold members. There is a volley space, which we talk every week. Crab. Hey, there's another state called Maryland that's also known for their crabs. And yeah, very good. Jamie and I, if we are in the right mood, we like to have crab cakes. Good stuff. Hello. Hopefully you're doing well. All right. The next one, Hawaii. Why are we going to talk about Hawaii when we talk about Alaska? Well, those two states are connected in this way. Alaska became our 49th state on January 3rd, 1959. Now, you may know that the United States has 50 states. So Alaska was the 49th state. Hawaii is the 50th state. That also became a state in 1959, and the United States has not added any more states since 1959. Olge from Turkey. We were talking earlier, and he was talking about Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico is not a state. It is a territory. And that is what Alaska was called before it became a state. It was a territory. So Puerto Rico is a territory. It is not a state. But every so often, there will be talk of making Puerto Rico the 51st state. But as of 2023, it is not. It's a territory of the United States. Alaska was our 49th state, and Hawaii was our 50th state. Before a state becomes a state, it might be called a territory. We talked about the Philippines earlier. At one time, the Philippines were a territory of the United States, but in the 1960s, I think it was, they became an independent country. Was it 1860s? I can't remember. But at one time, the United States had the Philippines as a territory. And as we all know, the Philippines is its own country. Well, unfortunately, a major earthquake hit Alaska in 1964. It was the second most powerful earthquake ever. And if you look at that picture, an earthquake in English is when the earth shakes, and it might destroy buildings. It might cause cracks in the road, like you can see there. Earthquakes, not very fun. But that earthquake, the second most powerful earthquake ever, was a 9.2 on the Richter scale. And in English, that's what we call the thing that measures earthquakes, the Richter scale. The most powerful earthquake would be a 10. That's as high as the Richter scale goes. You might have a different word for it in English, but we call it the Richter scale to measure earthquakes. And that powerful earthquake in Alaska was a 9.2. Unfortunately, there were 131 people who died in that earthquake. And that earthquake caused something we call in English a tsunami. I think that is a Japanese word, a tsunami. But after an earthquake, after the ground shakes, it might cause a tsunami, which is a really big wave or a bunch of really big waves. Very, very dangerous. So dangerous that this tsunami caused people in other states to die. The earthquake caused a tsunami that killed 5 people in Oregon. Maybe we'll talk about that state in the future. And 12 people in California. Tsunami. Fun word to say, not a fun word to see though. Experience. Richter, believe, right? Did I spell that the wrong way? Richter scale. Okay. In France, it's also called the Richter scale. Did I spell it wrong? It's possible. I'm sorry if I did. All right. Oh no. So Harry lives in Indonesia. And he said, earthquakes, so scary, comes quite often in my country because we have a lot of volcanoes. Okay, interesting. Last week we talked about volcanoes. If you saw that lesson on natural landmarks in the United States, that might have been 2 weeks ago. But Indonesia, Japan, Alaska, California. In English, we call it the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire, that circle in the Pacific Ocean where there are a lot of volcanoes, a lot of earthquakes. So in English, we call it the Ring of Fire. Yeah, Yang. The Philippines would be in that Ring of Fire. Yeah, scary, dangerous, beautiful though. That's the thing. There are a lot of volcanoes, a lot of earthquakes, but it produces very beautiful land right near the ocean. I'm trying. There are about 100 people, and I am trying to teach English and also look at the comments, but I don't think I will see every single one. Mahmoud, do earthquakes happen in America? I know in Indonesia. Right. So a lot of times with, I will call it the United States, because America can be Canada, can be Mexico, it can be Argentina, North, South America. So in the United States, yes, earthquakes can happen. We just talked about that one in Alaska. Also, California is known for having earthquakes. Seismic. When you see that word in English, seismic, think earthquakes, think the earth moving. All right. No. The U.S. has 50 states. 50 states. There are some other territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands. There are territories, but we only have 50 states. 50 states. All right. Just checking through the chat, making sure. Okay. I think we're good. If I didn't get your question, I will try to get it after. All right. Yes, I am a native English speaker. I grew up speaking English. I don't know. Maybe we should cover Hawaii next. I will put out a poll in a couple weeks. We might do a few more states. We still have to do Nevada. Nevada won't take as long. All right, the next one. Oil was discovered in Alaska in 1968, and that really made Alaska rich. There is something called a pipeline, and here's a map. There is a pipeline that runs through Alaska. It is called the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, and it brings oil from northern Alaska to southern Alaska. And then that oil will go all over the world. Yeah. Very rich state now. Oil was discovered in Alaska in 1968. Last week, we talked about national parks. And I talked about some very famous national parks, the Everglades, Sequoia National Forest, Acadia National Park, where I live in Maine. And Alaska has 8 national parks. That is the second most of any state. California has the most. Now, each state has a capital. The capital of the United States is Washington, D.C., but each of the states has its own capital, like biggest place where government happens. And the capital of Alaska is called Juneau. I do need to take a drink of water. And as I do, how about this? Remind you of this.
If this lesson is helping your English improve, don't forget to tap that like button and share it with a friend who's learning English.
Yeah, if you don't mind, hit that like button so other people will find it and maybe share the lesson. So Juneau is the capital of Alaska. And if you look at that building in the picture, that is the state capitol building. If we see other state capitals, they are a lot prettier than that one. Some have golden domes on top. This one looks pretty plain to me. Pretty plain. The next thing we should talk about is the state of Nevada. And when I think of Nevada, I don't think of the state as much as I do a certain city, which we will talk about. Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Let me check the chat really quickly. No question here. I have not been to Alaska. I would like to, though. I would like to. Oh, Hilton. I remember you from Romania, right? From Romania. What is the biggest city in the state of Alaska? Well, I'm glad you asked. Look at this. The largest city is named Anchorage. Anchorage has 292,545 people. Would you like me to read that large number one more time? 292,545 people, Alaska. Now, the state of Nevada, let's talk about the population there. And remember, when you hear population, think people. How many people does the state of Nevada have? And if you look on that map, Nevada is in red. We would say Nevada is in the western part of the United States. The largest city in Nevada is Las Vegas with 3,104,614 people. Whew. Yeah, maybe I should say that again. That's a hard number to read, right? We're in the millions now. So the biggest city of Nevada is Las Vegas, and it has 3,104,614 people. Hopefully, you will never need to say a number that big in English, but if you do, there's an example of a big number with a million. But the biggest city in the United States, the biggest city in Nevada is not the capital. The capital of Nevada is called Carson City. Carson City. Nevada is one of the fastest growing states in the United States. People are moving to Nevada. Yeah. A lot of Nevada is desert. So for a long time, before the invention of air conditioning, aircon, AC, you probably know that term. When it's really hot out, hopefully you can turn on the AC to make your room cooler. With the invention of AC, or air conditioning, more people are willing to move to the desert. And Las Vegas is a city in the desert. Nevada is the seventh largest state. It is about the size of the country of Italy. So look at Italy on a map, look at Nevada. They have about the same area. They are about the same size. Let's check the chat for any questions. Freddie Wolf. No, sorry, Williams. What part of the country, Nevada, Las Vegas? I think many have Mexican fluency. Do you agree? Spanish? I think so. The states around Nevada are California, Arizona, New Mexico. I know there is a lot of Spanish spoken in those three states. So I'm not sure about Nevada, but I would think, yeah, probably a lot of Spanish spoken in Nevada. What is special about Alaska? Oh, maybe watch on replay. We went over a few things that were special. Snow, it's probably not too special. Oil, maybe that is the most special thing. Kurdistan, I do know about Kurdistan. Yes. Yes, I know. Iraqi Kurdistan, but I know Kurdistan is also in other countries like Syria, Turkey, I believe, right? The Kurdish people, great people, great people. Do I communicate with Muslims in the United States? Yes. Some of my students in my classroom are actually Muslim. And sometimes, no, we don't have Ramadan off, but sometimes students will celebrate Ramadan. Yeah. Fasting. All right. Amina's here. What is going on? I hope the oil change went well. Okay. Harry, I'm wondering why some of the borders are straight lines. All right, let's look at this map here of the United States. It's a great question. So the country started on the right side of the map. Not sure if you can see my cursor, but it started on the East Coast. So the states over there are pretty small. Our original 13 colonies, the first 13 states, are on the East Coast. And I think what happened was people got lazy. Just like, just put this state here, put this state here. The states get bigger as you go west. So laziness, I think. Whatever. We just draw a straight line. Just put that on the map. There's your state right there. Boom. Call it Nevada. We're good. Moving on. What's the next state? Yeah, I think they just got bored. Freddie Wolf, always bringing the knowledge. The name of the state of Nevada refers to the snow-capped mountain range, Sierra Nevada, which eventually gave rise to the name Nevada, which means snow-capped. Snow-capped. So a snow-capped mountain means the bottom of the mountain doesn't have snow, but the top does. Snow-capped mountain, the cap, the top. I'm wearing a cap on my head right now. All right. Lots in the chat. I probably won't get to everybody. I'm sorry. Mahmood is wondering, will there be a live stream next Saturday? I don't think so. My daughter has an appointment with a school out of state. We will be going there, but I think I will be filming another hotel English lesson. Marco, hope you're doing well. Manuel, Nevada, in Spanish, snowed. This country belongs to Spain. Yes, it did for a while. I think in the members chat, there was talk about, yes, in the Discord, about a lot of the names in Nevada having Spanish names. And it's exactly as Manuel said. The Spanish from that country in Spain, the Spanish controlled that part of the United States for a long time. Tanya, thank you. California is the richest state. Is it? Because I know California does have a homeless problem, people without houses. But yeah, probably some very rich people there. A lot of technology there. All right. What is my favorite state? Probably the state I live in, Maine. Oh, Hilton, I'm sorry. Brazil. I'm sorry. Brazil. All right. I have not visited Sri Lanka. I would love to visit Colombo and Kandy one day, though. All right, let's do it. Washington State. Maybe that will win. I would like to do all of the 50 states one day. But Bob the Canadian is going live in just a few minutes. And I have a few more things I would like to talk about with Nevada to help you improve your English and to learn a little bit more about American culture. So we already talked about the median income of a state. If you remember, Alaska was 77,000. My state, 63,000. The median income in Nevada, $60,000. Sorry, let me read that correctly. $60,365. So not as rich as Alaska, not as rich as my state. Las Vegas, big city, 3 million people.
Okay.
Now, Siri,
for 3 million people.
come
Check
on.
it out.
Can you hear that? I said city, but I don't even want to say his name again. But he came on. So in Las Vegas, Sin City, that is the nickname for Las Vegas. There is a lot of gambling that goes on in Las Vegas. A lot of people will lose their money when they go to a casino in Las Vegas. But Las Vegas does have two professional sports teams. They have a hockey team and they have a football team. The hockey team is called the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They play hockey. And the football team is called the Las Vegas Raiders, which sounds very strange to me because as a kid growing up, they were known as the LA Raiders. They were from the city of Los Angeles. And also before that, they were the Oakland Raiders, which is another city in California. But guess what? Just like with Alaska, when gold was found, many people moved to Alaska. Silver was found in Nevada. So there was a silver rush in Nevada in 1859. Many people moved to Nevada in hopes of becoming rich. What usually happens with a gold rush or a silver rush is that the first few people get all the money. A lot of people move out. They don't make any money. All right, lots in the chat. Jeez. Audie. Yeah, remember we said earlier, Audie has been to Las Vegas. I have never been to Las Vegas. My mom went to Las Vegas with my sister, but I have never been. But it seems like Audie likes to play blackjack. You never lose? Audie, nicely done. Harry says they know they will lose their money, but they keep visiting. Fun fact. Yeah, that is why I don't gamble. I just don't. I always lose. I think that's what happens when you play any casino games is you lose. That's how they keep building bigger and bigger casinos. Jonathan, if I want to go to the US, what state should I visit like an immigrant? What's the best place to work without problems? That's a good question. I think there are many states you can move to. I know a lot of immigrants will come to New York first, New York City. That might be an option. Audie the Tie. He dropped a super sticker. Thank you, Audie. I have a little something for you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much for the super chat.
Yeah, Audie, that is very kind of you. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute while we continue to talk about Nevada. One of the things that you will know about Nevada is that they have been famous for testing atomic weapons, nuclear weapons. We call that a mushroom cloud in that picture. Very bad things. The U.S. has a lot of nuclear weapons. They have a lot of atomic bombs. Those are synonyms. I am sorry that the United States is the only country to use nuclear weapons in war. Pretty embarrassing. But one of the states where atomic weapon testing happened the most was in Nevada. And as I said before, Nevada has a lot of desert. There's just a lot of desert in Nevada. And it made for a very good place to test these weapons where fewer people would get hurt. Some people near the test sites have developed cancer, which is not good. But Nevada was once a state where many nuclear weapons were tested. Over 1,000 nuclear weapons were detonated in the desert of Nevada. And if that word detonated is new, think of exploded, detonated. Hopefully that helps. One of my favorite parts about, let's go to this one first. One of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to Nevada is this place called Area 51. Wait, no, it's not Area 51. It's Area 54, isn't it? Oh, no. Why did I write that? Area? Wait, is it? I want to give you the wrong. Oh, it's Area 51. Why did that not sound right to me? Okay, phew. Area 51. It's this part of Nevada where there is an Air Force base. So our U.S. military has part of it that is called the Air Force. And they work with planes quite a bit, airplanes, fighter jets. And there is an Air Force base called Area 51 in Nevada. So Area 51 is the name of a secret Air Force base where some people think aliens and their UFO were hidden. Some people think in the deserts of Nevada, where there is this Air Force base, some call Area 51, there was a UFO that crashed there, and the aliens were kept there. UFO, just it stands for unidentified flying object. If you can identify something, you can see it, you can name it. If it's unidentified, it's a mystery. So a UFO is something in the sky that you're not sure of. So maybe it has aliens, but Area 51 is something that you will hear. And if you take a look at that sign in the picture right now, it says restricted area. No trespassing. That means you cannot go there. Yeah. The American people cannot go to Area 51. It is secret. Yeah. I'm not sure if anyone has ever heard of that, Area 51, but Tanya, what is my favorite state? I would probably have to say Maine. That is the state I live in. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's called Area 51. There are parts of Nevada that are called like Area 1, Area 2, but it only goes up to 30. So I'm not sure how 51 became its name, but If you would like to do a little more research on Area 51, it might be kind of nice. It's fascinating. I'm not sure if I believe that there were aliens kept there, but there were a lot of aircraft that were like very new, and the US government was testing there. So maybe that's why they thought that was an alien spaceship, because it was just such a new jet. China is in the house. Hello, brother. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, it is 10:05. My buddy, Bob the Canadian, he is going live on his channel. I would love to get the link for you. Let me see if I can look this up. Bob the Canadian. He is going. Bob the Builder. No, Bob the Canadian. Come on. I will drop the link for Bob the Canadian in the chat. It might just take a minute. You probably all know Bob the Canadian, right? The man is a legend. He has over 1 million subscribers. I am going to drop the link. Yeah. Bob the Canadian. Come on. Everybody knows Bob the Canadian, right? Well, that is the link for Bob the Canadian. Click that link. I am going to go over to Bob the Canadian's chat. Maybe I will see you there. When you go over there, say, hey, I'm coming from Speak English with this guy. Let everybody know you are coming from my chat. We will tell Bob the Canadian you're all coming from here. Good. Bangladesh. Mega. I didn't know you were here. Mega's from India. All right. And Yulia Williams. I know you from him. That's right. A lot of people know me from Bob the Canadian. He has helped this channel out a lot. All right. Done. Yang. I will see you over in Bob the Canadians. Let them know. Taiwan. Nice, Mike. Let them know you are coming from my chat. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope this English lesson has improved your English. And I'll see you very soon with another English lesson. Adios, amigos.